Welcome to All Up in My Lady Business. I am your host, Mary Nisi. On this podcast, I'll explore the fine line between having it together and losing your shit. Here I share my journey as an entrepreneur, a mom, a wife, a DJ, and randomly a beekeeper. I have no shame and no filter, except the ones I use on Instagram. My stories of resilience, a little structure, and a lot of resourcefulness can show you how to take those same things and live your life with your whole ass. Thanks for listening. Alrighty, folks. Thanks for sticking around through the first 2 seasons of All Up in My Lady Business. I came into this not really knowing exactly what it was going to be, and I am ending it exactly the same way I came in. You know, I know a lot of people start their podcasts and they have them all recorded before they even release the first one. And that is just not how I did this. I did this very much as like what's happening to me in the moment. The first season was a lot more of me and me giving background and my musings on what was happening in the world, sprinkled in with some interviews. And then this season's been really interview heavy because I just haven't had the bandwidth to spout off about the things that were rattling around in my brain, which kind of sucked because I had a lot of things rattling around in my brain. And I would always think to myself, this would be a really good idea for a podcast. And then I couldn't get it out of my head onto paper. And I couldn't get it out to you. But I hope you enjoyed all the interviews. And I know a lot of you did. I got a lot of really amazing feedback. People really loved almost every episode. I would get some kind of email from somebody or a text message or a DM saying, you know, as a result of this podcast, you know, I'm making a business change. Or, I mean, people seem to really love Judy Newton. What an amazing human. And I loved getting to know them better and being super nosy and really getting in there. So I hope you also liked it. So we are wrapping up the year right here. I am going to be taking off the month of January to get through some much needed vacations. I'm going skiing, and then I'm actually going back to Panama for that yoga retreat that started all of this in the first place. So hopefully that ski trip won't end in an ACL tear, and the yoga trip will be amazing. I planned it to be. My birthday's in there. My son's birthday's in there. And my plan is to be back in February. It was a big year. A lot of big changes this year. You know, quitting drinking, of course, moving. I did a lot of weddings this year. And I really loved all of them. It was so fun to be back in it. Even if it wasn't 100% on my own volition, like almost all of them happened to me, like a DJ quit or someone got COVID or whatever. And I did have a couple ones that I booked. There's actually one that was amazing. I did a corporate holiday party a couple weeks ago I had like a Bridgerton theme, and I had a costume budget. It was like 3,000 people, and it was awesome. I had another one of my DJs, Tabitha. She was up doing a silent disco. We had a photo booth. It was kind of a magical night. It was wonderful to be a part of, and made me so grateful that I get to do this, that I get to stand on a stage. I was on a stage that was 15 feet above the ground, and I had to climb a ladder to get up in it. And everything about it was hot. I don't know. It was a cool experience. In many ways, I could end my career right there, and I don't think I'd be bummed, but I don't think that's how it's going to go. I want to learn how to scratch, guys. I want to learn how to scratch. I'm looking forward to this next year. I want to just step back from working weddings and focus on my businesses once again. And I'm really grateful to be able to do that I can make a decision to like step back, and I get to make my decisions on my own terms. I met a lot of really great people this year too. And you got to meet some of them through my podcast. And you know, it's really fun for me to like learn things about people that I've known, you know, if I've known them really well, or if I am just getting to know them. It's fun to meet them on a different level via the interviews. I do think that one of my superpowers is that I'm an open book. I don't have a lot of secrets. I'm a bad liar. I am not good at pretending that to be something that I'm not. And I think I'm really good at getting shit out of people. And maybe because I'm like, hey, look at this dumb thing I did. Have you also done this dumb thing? And then they're like, actually, I have done that dumb thing. And then they start spilling. And, moving is its own craziness, and, the loneliness of being someplace new and trying to make new friends. Like one of the things I was told when I started the process of removing alcohol from my life was that when you quit drinking, you're going to lose friends. And I was like, I'm not going to lose friends. All my friends are old and we don't party. So why would I lose friends? But, when you get to the end of the year and you're reflecting back on the things that were great, or I could have done better. Yeah, I lost a lot of friends. I didn't even say I lost them, but I did, just they change. And reflecting on the friends that I did lose because I stopped drinking, or the ones, it's not because I quit drinking. It's because I wasn't willing to I guess I was advocating more for myself. And when you're doing that, people don't like it when you change. But I am forging new directions. I feel so much clearer, and I don't know what 2020 will bring, but the overall goal is to be truly present for everything. And I will say that my meditation practice has definitely made that much easier, to be in the moment and just try to be where I'm at and not trying to plan things for the future all the time, which is something I've always had to do because of my job. I've always lived my life a year in advance, and I'm not doing that anymore. And I am really excited to be here and see where this podcast goes in 2023. I have a new assistant that is awesome, and I have a feeling that she's going to help make it so there's a bit more consistency with the pod. So I'm going to be present. I love this podcast, and I hope that you will be present for it when it comes back in February. And I would love any feedback. If you guys have any ideas for topics or guests, that maybe you got a friend that is very cool. Maybe you're very cool and you'd like to be on it. It's funny. I get a lot of emails from publicists for podcasts that reach out to try to get people on my podcast. And it's always like, this lady she's got 40 years in marketing experience, and now she's got a podcast where she's teaching women how to have 5 steps to make them successful or something. And that's all awesome. I think those podcasts are great, but I don't think those publicists have actually listened to my podcast, or else they wouldn't be suggesting that I have some random woman who's got 5 tips, because I'm going to find out how deep her hot flashes are and how old she was when, she had her heart broken by, I don't know, her crush on a member of NSYNC. I don't know, but it certainly is not going to give anybody tips on marketing. But if you do have any suggestions for anybody who falls underneath that umbrella, please, feedback, suggested guests, things you want me to cover, you can email me at this is a new website, mary@amarynisiproduction.com. That's mary@amarynisiproduction.com. And as always, if you have been waiting to write that review, please do it now. You can subscribe and comment on anywhere where you get your podcasts, your iTunes, your Spotifys, your Stitchers. You can find me everywhere. So again, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for listening to this last little guy, and I will see you in the 2023. Thanks for listening to All Up in My Lady Business. It is written by me, Mary Nisi. It is produced by Christina Sorum-Williams and Amelia Ruby with Softer Sounds. It is recorded at the Toast and Jam offices in Logan Square in Chicago. You can find resources and links from this episode in the show notes at allupinmyladybusiness.com. If you enjoyed this episode, and you did, smash that subscribe button. And if you're the kind of person that reviews things on the internet, please rate and review us wherever you listen to us. It really does help people find us. Follow us on all of your socials, and don't forget, whatever you do this week, do it with your whole ass. Thanks for listening.